Hey guys, David Stewart here. Let's learn some more Segovia scales. Today we're going to do G major, which is our first 3-octave major scale. And it's a movable pattern like all the others, with the exception of E major and E minor, which start on our open E. So this one, it starts right here on G, 3rd fret on the 6th string, but it can also be used to play F sharp major. It can be used to play G sharp major. It can also be used to play A major all the way up to B major if you want to, although there is another Segovia pattern for B major that works as well. And the reason you might want to use a different pattern for B major is that if you don't have a cutaway, which you're probably not going to on most classical guitars, you end up doing a lot of fretting like up here above the 12th fret, which it's a little bit more difficult to play on the 5th and 6th string above the 12th fret when you don't have a cutaway on a classical guitar. So if you are playing a standard classical guitar, I'm doing this video on my Godin, which is not standard at all, then you might want to look at that other pattern to get to B major. But for those other scales, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, it's a pretty good pattern to do for those. It has several different positions, and I really like this scale because it starts in one position, and each position that you play in, and there are actually 4 positions, because it's different on the way down than it is on the way up. There's actually 4 different positions, and each position presents a different scale that you can learn to improvise or do whatever else you want with. So let's go ahead and hop into the scale, and we'll look at the basic fingering for the scale, and we'll look at all the positions, and then from there we'll go and we'll discuss what you can do in each position and some other scales that you can practice to sort of expand the scale a bit. So it starts right here, 3rd fret, 6th string with the 2nd finger. And we start off by playing finger 2, then finger 4 on the 6th string. And finger 4, remember when you skip a finger, you skip a fret for all these Segovia scales. Finger 4 reaches up to the 5th fret. 2, 4. Then you're going to go up to the 5th string, and now you're in the 2nd position, so your first finger is lining up on the 2nd fret. You're going to play finger 1, 2, 4. Okay? That's fret 2, 3, 5. Then you're going to go to the next string. You're still in the 2nd position. You're going to play fingers 1, 3, 4 on frets 2, 4, 5. And there's our first octave. There's our first octave. We're going to continue in this position with 2 more notes. Fingers 1 and 3. Here in the 2nd position on the 3rd string. That's an A and a B. So we have in this position 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. From here, we're going to shift to the 5th position. And we're going to continue. 1, 3. That's on the 5th and 7th fret on the 3rd string. Then we're going to continue on to the 2nd string. 1, 3, 4. And there's our 2nd octave. First octave, 2nd octave. That's G right there on the 4th finger, okay? We're going to continue on the 1st string. 1, 3, 4 on frets 5, 7, and instead of going to finger 4 here, we're going to slide up to the 8th position and play 1, 3. So you end up playing 1, 3, 1, 3. Then you're going to slide up again to the 12th position. So if you imagine there's no cutaway, you're going to put your thumb on the heel of the neck, and you're going to reach over the body to play in the 12th position, frets 12, 14, 15, with fingers 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Okay? That's the ascending pattern of the scale. The descending pattern is a little bit different. So let's go through that very slowly. 2, 4, 5th string. 1, 2, 4, 4th string. 1, 3, 4, 3rd string. 1, 3, shift to the 5th position. 1, 3, 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, shift above the 3rd finger, to the 8th position. 1, 3, shift all the way to the 12th position. 1, 3, 4. There's the ascending version. Now let's do the descending version. It's slightly different. 4, 3, 1. You're going to shift to the 7th position now. And you're going to have this 4-fret box. You're going to do 4, 2, 1 on frets 10, 8, 7. Then you're going to do 4, 2, 1 on the next string. 4, 2, 1. Still in the 7th position. That's 10, 8, 7. Then you're going to do 3, 1 on the 3rd string. Then you're going to do 4, 3, 1 on the 4th string. That's frets 10, 9, 7. And on the 5th string, 4, 3, 1. From here, we shift back down to our original starting position in the 2nd position, and we're going to play 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. That's the entire scale. 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 4. 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 7th position, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1. Shift to the 2nd position, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. Okay? Now, for the particulars of playing this, there's a couple things that you want to keep in mind. So the first one is that down here, you're going to want to make sure that you're not playing at too oblique an angle on these strings rest strokes so you don't get too much of a scratchy sound. That's extra amplified by the fact that I'm playing electric right now, and this is amplified in this room. So you're going to want to play pretty straight across the strings to have a nice clean tone. Now when we're shifting on trebles, we can usually leave this finger down or at least touching the string. So 1, 3, I shift while touching the string to the 5th position. So I don't let go of the string and hope to get to the 5th position. I keep the finger touching and I slide it to the 5th position. 1, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, and I do the same thing here. First finger is basically going to stay touching the 1st string. I slide up to the 8th position. 1, 3, I do the same thing. Slide up to the 12th position. 1, 3, 4. 4, 3, 1, we do the same thing. Finger 1 slides to the 7th position as finger 4 comes down. Finger 1 is not coming off the string. It's sliding while touching. Finger 4 comes down on the 10th fret. 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3. Now if we do that here, we get that shook noise. So we actually do lift here and press again. Ideally you would lift without any noise. Okay, if you get, you're going to want to work to try to get rid of that a little bit, because for a non-guitarist, like as guitarists, we're kind of used to hearing all the string noise as we play the guitar, but for non-guitarists, that's actually like a rather distracting noise, is to hear as we move around the neck. So we kind of want to eliminate that, and that's one of the virtues of the scale. Now for like the expansive part of this scale. Because we're playing in so many different positions, it's really, really valuable to learn where each position works as sort of a jazz scale. We can use this to improvise and just expand our playing opportunities. Here in the 2nd position, we end up with a pattern that if we extend all the notes of G in this one position, we end up with a 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. This is one of the first patterns in Arnie Burrell's Pattern Scales and Modes for Jazz Guitar. If you bothered to check out that book, this is one of the first patterns he teaches. And it's a really good one. This is like what I tend to call a box pattern, which is it takes place in 4 frets. It has 5 strings with 3 notes and 1 string with 2 notes, which is a pretty standard affair. So the first, going from the 6th all the way to the 3rd, you have 3 notes. You have 2 notes on the 2nd string and 3 on the 1st. So this can be thought of as a Locrian scale starting on F sharp, or it can be thought of as reaching up to that A and actually being an A Dorian scale. So you could think of it as an A Dorian ending on the 1st string, or starting as a Locrian. And I always think of both things when I think of modes on guitar. I think of where it starts and where it ends. So it ends as like a Dorian and it starts as a Locrian, but it has the notes of G major, and so it can be used for any of those. You can use it for like an F sharp diminished chord. Starting there will actually have a pretty interesting sound as well. So it's 1, I'll go through it slowly. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4 on the 2nd string, 2, 4 on the 1st string, 1, 2, 4. So if you think that's where we start with G, we go to the 5th position. 5th position is basically this scale. This is like a little 5-fret stretch scale. So it's not quite like the box, but it's a little bit different. And if you want to think about that one starting on the 6th string, it's 1, 3, 4 for A, B, C. Then we have 1, 1, 2, 4. Reaching out, that's the F sharp. G, 1, 2, 4, that's B. And then 1, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. So it can be thought of as a dorian. It starts as dorian and it ends on C, which is actually the like a C Lydian scale. All right. Even though it ends on the Mixolydian note, you could think of it as like a C Lydian scale, and that works as well. Okay. So however you want to think of about how it ends on the C and has an F sharp. So there's scale number 2. Let's keep going. We go all the way up to the, we'll skip this momentary pause here, and we'll go up to the 12th fret. At the 12th fret, 1, 3, 4, we have something that ends in Ionian, ends as a major scale. 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1. There's our major scale. 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1. That's 15, 14, 12, 15, 13, 12, 14, 12. And in order to go from there, I can actually turn this into a 3-note per string scale. And I've actually gone over this one, and you can find that video elsewhere. 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, shift down, 1 fret, 4, 2, we're on the 12th fret there, so we're in the 11th position, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, we shift down an extra fret there, 4, 2, 1, 5 fret stretch on frets 14, 12, 10. Then we do the same thing, 14, 12, 10. All 3 of those are the same. 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. 5 fret stretch, finger 2 lines up on the 12th, finger 1 lines up on the 10th. And then you have what's basically starts as a D Mixolydian and ends as G Ionian, ends as G major. Now we have one more scale, so that's number 3. So we have the one down here, we have the one in the 5th position, we have the one at the 12th position. Now we also have this one in the 7th position. This is a very, very, very good scale to learn because it feels good and it can also be easily adapted to pentatonic. This one is where we are going on this descending part. So we're just going to continue that scale because we have 5 of the 6 strings. We're just going to continue it on the 6th string. So it goes 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1. So this can be thought of as a B Phrygian, or it could be thought of as ending on D and being D Mixolydian. Okay, either one. So if you see like a D7 chord, this scale will work well for that. Tonicizing D. Okay, and if you see a B flat 9, a like B major flat 9, or like a B minor flat 9, then playing around with this sound is a good one. That's a Phrygian sound. So that's pattern number 4. I'll go through that one slowly again. 4, 2, 1 on the 1st string. We're in the 7th position. 4, 2, 1. 3, 1, 4, 3, 1 on the 4th string, 4, 3, 1 on the 5th string, and end 4, 2, 1 here. Okay? Now, what's interesting about this is that we have 4 extra patterns that we've learned with this scale, but each of those patterns is also movable. So not only is the entire giant 3-octave pattern movable, but each little individual scale that we have is movable. So if this is D Mixolydian, if you want to think of this as ending as D Mixolydian, I always think about where scales end, not just where they begin. Because most people would see this pattern and be like, that's B Phrygian. And I'm like, well, I use it for D7 chords all the time, and it sounds great. It's because I'm just thinking of what the chord tones are differently. I'm thinking of ending on D rather than beginning on B. Because we tend to play up on the treble strings more than the bass strings anyway. I think it's a really good idea to think about where you end a scale, not just where you begin it. And with guitar, you're usually going to begin and end in different places if you're playing in one position. So anyway, this is a D. This ends as a D Mixolydian. However, it can also be anything else you want. C Mixolydian. Use the same pattern for C7, or you can use it for A Phrygian, whatever you want to do. So each of these patterns is movable and usable for whatever you want. So I recommend you practice the entire scale going up and down, And you can practice all the different right hand patterns that Segovia has, and then practice each position of it for the entire 6 strings. Find each position of the scale, practice through all 6 strings like I showed, and then you will have memorized, in the process of memorizing one Segovia scale, you will have memorized 1, 2, 3, 4 different jazz scales that you can use for whatever you want. And that is a great way to look at the Segovia scale in G major. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't be afraid to tell me what you want to see or hear. I'm always happy to deliver if I can, although sometimes it takes some time to get to it. Don't forget to visit my websites, dbspress.com, davidvstewart.com. I will have my music videos organized. You can read my books, whatever you want to do. And I really, really appreciate you watching. You have a great day.